Afternoon, everyone. Sorry I'm a bit late. I had a friend just appear, which is always amazing. And often they appear for a reason, so I'm not going to fight it. I am 11 minutes late. I do apologise for that if you've been waiting for me. But it is what it is. So, apologies for my delay. So walking around this morning, I was just contemplating what I could do to counteract what happened to me yesterday, and it was just, a comedy of errors. It was absolutely ridiculous. Every single thing that I did was just went the reverse way. My vehicle had an issue. I had to go down to the shopping centre 3 times because I just couldn't get it right. I couldn't, I forgot my USB drive. Then what was on my USB drive was not what I wanted. Blah, 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 blah. And it was just a complete comedy of errors. So I was walking around the track this morning and I was listening to a podcast by Tony Robbins. And he was talking about 3 ways and 3 tips of breaking through. And it was quite interesting because he started the conversation or the podcast by talking about where we think we've come from. So, our upbringing and our lifestyle. And, did you ever wonder what made leaders and what makes followers? And I've never really questioned that. But, when he was talking about it, it was like, yeah, actually, what does make a leader and what does make a follower? And there's one key word, which I will tell you just now. But is it that, some people are just lucky that they've been brought up in the right homes or the right places, or, have they had the right upbringing? Have they had a stable home and environment? Were they given every single thing that they desired? What was it that has what's the difference between those sort of people and the people that have started off less lucky, the ones who have come from broken homes, the ones who have had to struggle every day to get to where they are? And it was interesting. And the one thing that did come up was, are you hungry enough? Are you hungry enough to get what you want? And it's not talking about food hunger. It's talking about commitment and dedication and vision and focus. And, it's some of our finest leaders in our industry have come from those broken homes, and they've come from the environment that has made them hungry. And you look at all the people that have had great upbringings. Look at a lot of the people in, I suppose, in as a celebrity, a lot of them end up in rehab. Well, I did too, but hey, I'm not a celebrity. But a lot of them ended up in rehab. A lot of them ended up in facilities, have ended up with psychiatric problems, and you actually wonder whether, whether having people give you everything on your plate is the right thing. So the hunger is the desire that I think our lives, our stories will dictate and determine where we end up. And that's really, Tony Robbins is just the most amazing speaker. I don't know if you've ever heard him speak, but he's on my mission list this year for sure. Are you hungry enough? What is it that determines who you are? What is it that that actually tells you and makes you who you are? Sorry, I'm just trying to get my notes up. So here's the thing, guys. What have you been through to determine who you are? And what is it that determines who you become? Do you let your life story or the story of your life determine what you're going to make out of your life? Let's not make the story what we want out of our lives. Change your story and you will change your life. So the 3 points that he was talking about, really, really fascinating. The 3 points that he was talking about today was the first point, and this is in reverse order because this is the least important of them, is strategy. Now, we all know in our business what we're talking about with strategy. And described in the dictionary, a strategy is a plan of action or policy designed to achieve a major and overall aim. So, a strategy essentially is to get you to where you want to be. And strategy is essential to perfect your skills and to hone your craft. But at the end of the day, it's absolutely nothing. Your strategy is nothing without the other two key tips that he was talking about. So the second most or least important is story. The story that you tell yourself is essential to the success of your strategy. So negative stories, if you think about, how people sort of tell a story and the negative stories that come to mind, talking about weight loss, for example, I spend my whole life trying to lose weight. Here we go again, you see, it's the negative story. And, I've tried everything. Negative story. I am big boned. Negative story. I'm setting myself up not to succeed. I'm setting myself up. So your story is very, very important to be able to propel you into the thing that is the most important, which he was talking about earlier. The thing is your story is everything. If you give up on your story, if you give up the story that limits you, you will never get anywhere. So, like I just said, change your life, change your story. Or to change your story, you will change your life. I mean, it's as simple as that. So instead of saying, oh, well, I'm big boned, sort of say, well, I'm not big boned and I'm going to do it. Or this is what I am going to do. This is what I see myself as. And it's not just about, it's every story. It's every story in life. I spoke to a friend of mine today, and after the situation that I had yesterday, she said to me, "Oh my God, you look like you were having a great day yesterday." And it was like, yes, because that's my story. That is exactly my story. That's exactly what I want people to see. My story, and that's exactly what I believe. Because if I'm in a negative mindset, everything around me is negative. You are what you attract, right? So that's topic number 2. But in reverse order. So it's strategy and story. And the most poignant point to get a breakthrough in whatever business that you're in is state. So your state essentially is the most important factor in your life. You need to be in the right state to be able to receive everything that will come with it. So if you're in the right state, you tell the right story. If you're in the right story, you produce the right strategy. So that's really important. So your state is essential. Your state determines how you feel. Yeah, if you put some music on, if you're feeling a bit low and you put some music on, and it changes it like that, because that's your state. It's changing your state. If you put the TV on and you watch the news all the time, what's your state going to be? It's going to be that negative, what they're feeding you. And sadly, that's the way the world is. People live on, what hooks them and what is going to sell and what is going to attract people to it. And essentially, that's the negative stuff. But, do we want to really live our lives like that? A few years down the line, your state, if you, for example, your state, if you have a great relationship, if you start a great relationship, and you're completely 100% in love, and that's all you can think about. It's all you can think about is that person, what you're going to cook for them that night, what you're going to do with them that day, what blah 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 blah. That's all you can think about. And then a couple of years down the line, and something's changed. Something's changed. That's your state, okay? And what he said was really, really amazing. If you do what you did in the beginning of a relationship, at the end of the relationship, there wouldn't be an end. it would still keep going, because you're doing what you did at the beginning. You're in that state. You're in that mindset. You're in that, you're in that focus. You're in that posture. And that's really important. If you want to change your story, then change your state. Decisions, not conditions, determine your destiny. So there's the other thing, because we're all sort of going around sort of not focusing on the right thing. But if you focus on the right things, those decisions will determine your success and not the conditions. So, and this is going into the focus side of it as well. If you focus on, oh, I don't have the money, or I don't have the time, or I don't have the skills, or I'm not computer tech savvy, or blah, 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 again, it's making excuses. That's not focus, because that's just a darn right excuse. If you had a really hot date, would you find the time? If you, what was the other example I had? If you, say, for example, I'm not a salesperson. If you had a breakdown on the side of the road, would you manage to stop somebody to help you change their tire? Would you convince them that you needed help to change your tire? That's sales, essentially, at the end of the day. So your decisions, not your conditions, will make the success out of you. So that, really, that's really what I wanted to talk about today, because it was really, 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 Tony Robbins is just the most incredible person. And if you ever need some motivational things that you really think that it might help your life, I would really recommend that you listen to him, because he's just incredible. And he your focus essentially is everything. To change your life, you need to change your focus. You need to change your mindset. So the 3 things that he says that will determine your breakthrough and determine the success of your breakthroughs are: number 3, strategy; number 2, your story; and number 1 is your state or your mindset. So that's really, really important. I mean, you've got to have your mindset sorted first before your story, because your mindset will determine your story. Yeah? So I don't know if that makes any sense, guys, but see a couple of people on. Thank you so much for joining me, and I really hope you're having a fantastic day like we are in Nairobi. It's beautiful and glorious and sunny and amazing, and to those that I haven't seen yet, Happy New Year, and we will speak tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.